See, this is why we can't have anything nice. You bring all your toys outside and just leave them. Breezy, you gonna get your toy? Come get your toy. Get your toy. Get that toy. Nope, I'll have to get it on the way home. Well, I am at the shop and I didn't bring the kabar knife. I brought the sheath. But I want to tell you briefly. Oh, first let me tell you, I have scrubbed and Don's name is not coming off. And Mac's name is not coming off. So I put saddle soap and cleaned it up as best I can. And I think what I'm going to do is dye this black. I'm going to let this dry, let it sit in the sun and dry all day. And then I'm going to dye it black. And I do have to sew from this rivet to this rivet. I'm going to re-sew it. And you know how I do. I'll probably re-sew this and then I'll say, oh, this looks so much better than that. I'll do that one. And then I'll do that one. So let's just say I'm going to go ahead and re-sew the whole sheath with black thread. And this knife will be ready to go. But all I'm going to do now is, I wanted to tell you about the knife. Union Cutlery Company started business in 1909. And their cutlery business was doing so good by 1911 that they decided to branch off into making hunting knives. And they didn't have a name for the branch of hunting knives. They didn't have any names for knives. And a letter came to them about the time they were making their first hunting knives. They'd already sold a few, but they hadn't decided on a name. They got a letter from a man in Alaska who was a trapper, a bear hunter, and he told them a story of how his rifle failed and he had nothing but his knife. And in his letter, he told them that he killed a bar with their knife. And the people at Union Cutlery said, killed a bar, and that's how the man spelled it, bar. So that's how the name K-bar, and actually the name is K-A-bar. And I don't recall seeing the dash on that knife, but in other copies I have. So not only did they name that branch of their knife-making company, Union Cutlery, named that branch K-bar, they started naming their earliest knives, the Grizzly, the Brown Bear, and stuff like that, because of that one man's letter. So the knife I have could be made anywhere from 1923 to the early 50s. And then in 66, a company called Cole, C-O-A-L, Cole something company, bought the K-bar division from Union Cutlery, and they ended up going bankrupt. And then another company came along and bought the assets and the name, and they continued making K-bar knives. And then in 96, another company bought them out. I can't pronounce it. It's ACLUS or something. They're in the United States. So they're still made in the U.S., and K-bar knives are made to this day. So the knife I have could be as old as 100 years, being how, this is 2024, fixing to be 2025, or, as young as 50 or 60. But no matter whether it's one or the other, it just amazes me that this could have lasted this long. Both the sheath and the knife. Now, the knife, it was in pretty sad shape. I wasn't sure that I could bring it back, and I had my doubts. But the sheath come out so good that I'm willing to spend the time on this. Let me tell you what somebody did. I don't know whether it was Don or Mac, but this thing, I guess, was slipping in here. And to keep it from slipping, they stapled it. So I'll be pulling the staples out and putting the right thing in there, and it'll be a rivet like these. I have some smaller rivets. Okay, I'm going to set this in the sun and let it dry. And right now I got to go home and box up a knife and send it to a person up in Illinois. And what am I going to do after that? Oh yeah, change the oil on the gator and mow Bev's yard. Have a good day, y'all. Okay, Don and Mac. Hate to do this to you. Who knows how long you've been there, but we're fixing to dye you out. Well, I'm sorry to see you go, Don and Mac, but we're moving on. All right, I'm gonna let this dry. Then I'm gonna pull them staples out and put a rivet here. And then I'm gonna sew this, like I said, I'm just gonna sew this little part here, but this whole thing will be sewed because that's how my brain works. So we'll let it dry. I'm fixing to go mow. I still haven't changed the oil in the gator. I don't know why. I'll tell you why, because it's so inconvenient and difficult to get to everything. The filter, you got to have 6-foot arms to reach, you know, and then you have to have a joint in between your wrist and your elbow to get your arm around there, and it's just, and there's no way to pull everything off without getting oil all over you. Plus you got to lay on your back and look up. It's just so inconvenient to change that oil. Anyway, I may or may not get to that today. I really want to get this done today. I just shipped 3 knives. Probably gonna have another knife or 2 to ship tomorrow. These are some of the knives that I've finished. I have all these and this and a couple more to make sheaths for. What I'm doing now is trying to sell the ones that are already in sheaths and all that. So, all right, let's get the mowing. Okay, there's that K-bar. Let me see if this has a dash. This does not have a dash between the K-bar. I don't know what that means. Anyway, so I was able to control myself. I did sew just the bottom part because the rest of it looks great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good stitching. Nothing's pulled through. So this is ready to go. If anybody wants this, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful knife. It's an old knife. $125 shipped in the United States. All right. Have a good Friday, y'all. I still have not. It took me a while to mow Bev's yard for some reason. I have to mow very slow because of my back. And it took me a little longer. I had to go over and over and over some areas because the grass was so thick it left clumps. And if you don't mow the clumps up, it'll kill the grass underneath it. So it took me a long time to mow her yard. And I think tomorrow, if we don't go anywhere, tomorrow's Friday, I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I have the filter. I have the oil. It's just the willpower. So have a good Friday. Oh yeah, I just thought I'd show it to you, what it looks like in the sheath. This is a K-bar sheath. It says K-bar right here. You can still see Don almost where it had made an indentation, but I don't see Mac's name. Mac didn't write his name as hard as Don did. So, there we go. All right, have a good Friday.